guys, what's up? Welcome back to my channel. As you guys know, I have already moved to my land in West Tennessee, and I'd like to share in this video the differences between living on a homestead and stay, like in Georgia, as opposed to a friend's homestead where I was staying in Tennessee. There are lots of differences in these places. I did a campground versus homestead and stay video. You guys can check out that video right there, and just compared my experiences staying in these places. So I'm going to do that again for the last places I stayed, and I will probably even do one for having your own homestead compared to all the three. Let's get into the video. Okay, let's start with number one. In the homestead and stay, there were not allowed to be many, say, noises. There were no guns going off, no gun shooting, no tools could be used. Basically, it was quiet time at a specific time of night and in the morning. At the friend's homestead, on the other hand, it's a bit freer. There's not a business being run here, so there are basically no rules. You can use your tools whenever you want. The contractors and handymen can come over and work on your house whenever. You can go down by the creek and shoot guns. You can be loud until 12 o'clock at night. The houses are pretty much far enough away so that you can't hear anything going on in the separate little areas. That is difference number one. Number two, there is a contract that you have to sign in a homestead and stay, and there was no contract that I had to sign on my friend's property. When you are staying in a business type place, it is more likely that you're going to have to sign a contract. There's going to be rules because they have things that they have to follow. So if you get hurt, something happens to you, then that contract with your signature basically protects you and the person that is renting to you. I was temporary at my friend's place, but we didn't have a contract and nothing bad happened at all. But because they're friends, I think we both would have been responsible enough to deal with whatever came our way. It is understandable that in a business atmosphere, you will probably have a contract to sign, and if you end up staying on a friend's homestead, they might have a contract, maybe a minimal contract. My friends here are planning on, renting out a few spots, so they probably will make a contract because there's going to be people out there that come in. We know each other, so they did not have me sign a contract, and it worked out for both of us. Number three, on the homestead and stay, there were not that many farm animals. There was, yes, 16 cats and a chicken and a few dogs, but those were the homestead owner's animals. In this homestead that I was staying at in Tennessee, in Sparta, they had pigs when I first came. They had a whole bunch of chickens, like 60 chickens. That's where I got all of my chickens from. And they had ducks, and they're getting quails. They have turkeys. They're going to build a horse stable. So to me, it was more of a homesteadish farm type atmosphere in my friend's homestead, whereas in the homestead and stay, it was more business, more residential, more just business-like. So there wasn't that many farm animals. I didn't get hands-on experience caring for those animals because they were their animals. Difference number four, in the homestead and stay in Georgia, I had to park in a parking lot, and in my friend's homestead, I was able to have my own little driveway. So they had a driveway poured for me in the homestead in Tennessee. It was right by my house. I was able to drive up to it, drop my groceries off, park by my house, but in the homestead and stay, which it was more like a business, that's where you had to park in a parking lot with the rest of the guests and walk to your house. Number five, at the homestead and stay in Georgia, there was AIRBNB guests that came all the time, and each person and each little group had their own little party. Sometimes the homestead owner would have little parties, but me living there, I kind of felt like I wasn't included in the Airbnb stuff because that is their gig. That is their business thing. I lived there, but that was their business part of it. I was invited sometimes, but it wasn't really, say, my thing to do. So in the homestead at my friend's house, I'm outside with them all the time. So when they have fires, they'll invite me over. When they have guests, they might invite me over. When they have gatherings, I'm able to go over there. So that is just another difference between staying in a homestead and stay and on a friend's homestead. Number 6, in the homestead and stay in Georgia, there was not much hands-on learning. This was their job, so they were in and out of Airbnbs every day. It's not like I was there tagging along trying to find out how to manage an Airbnb, so I didn't really get much hands-on learning. As compared to my friend's homestead, they are teaching me everything that they know about homesteading. So I'm learning about farming, I'm learning about animals, I'm learning about utility hookups, buying land, researching land, insurance on land. Like, I am learning so much from my friends because they're friends and they're teaching me. But again, in a business atmosphere, it's not like it's their job to teach you, to have you tag along and learn what they do. So being in each of the places, it's different. I kind of learned from afar watching the Airbnbs, but here I got more hands-on learning, which was actually really beneficial. Number 7, at the homestead and stay in Georgia, my mail was delivered at the community house. So there was a main house that the mail was dropped off at. Compared to my friend's homestead and stay, I'm living here, and so they drive the mail up to me. So it's like my mail is delivered to me rather than at a main house to where I'd have to go and pick up my mail. So that is another difference. It's kind of convenient having them drive straight to your house, especially if the packages are heavy. If you can't use the golf cart in a homestead and stay, then you're going to have to carry those packages back. So it's different living in both places. Number 8, in the homestead and stay, I was not allowed to use golf carts, but in my friend's homestead, I am. I was allowed to use them in the homestead and stay as long as guests weren't there, but there were guests in and out almost every single day, and there were specific times that they checked in and checked out. So if there was a guest there, I could not use my golf cart. If my friends have guests, then I'm allowed to use it when they have guests, when they don't have guests. And unlike the campground, where I was only able to go 5 miles per hour, we can go as fast as we want here. There's nothing really dangerous around here, and it's actually fun going faster than 5 miles per hour and being able to use a golf cart in general. Number 9, in the homestead and stay, I had a specific spot that I was staying in, and I had a shed that I was able to bring onto the spot. It was basically a canopy, but when I stayed in my friend's place in Tennessee on their homestead, they gave me pretty much a spot in their barn in order to store my stuff. I didn't have to get my own shed. They just let me use something of theirs, which was a lot more convenient than buying a canopy for $300 that I ended up selling back to them, to the homestead owners, for about $100 just to keep it there because I didn't want to have to take it down. So I was really thankful that my friends were able to let me use their barn because I didn't have to buy a $300 canopy. And, when I found the land, I was able to just take the stuff out of their barn. They had their barn back. I didn't have any kind of canopy or shed to deal with, and everything worked out. This difference specifically, it might be different on a homestead and stay compared to a friend's homestead. Difference number 10, in the Georgia homestead and stay, they had 16 acres, but only about 1 acre was basically mowed out, like a path's put in there, led down to a creek and to another yurt, but there wasn't much room on their property to explore. On my friend's homestead and stay, they've got paths throughout almost their whole 25 acres where you can ride, ATVs, golf carts, side-by-sides. Considering we weren't really able to use the golf carts in the homestead and stay, maybe that's why there wasn't trails throughout, because I wouldn't have been able to use it. They didn't have a golf cart or anything, so they walked everywhere. So down by the creek wasn't so bad, but here there is 25 acres to explore, and they've got the side-by-side. I'm able to use my cart, so they've got friends and guests that come and use their carts. Their trails are going to be used for horses later on. It's really nice staying on a friend's homestead. So far I have lived in 3 different places in my tiny house: a campground, a homestead and stay, and a friend's homestead. Now that I have my land, I just wanted to share those videos with you so you can see the differences of each place. And again, everybody's experiences are going to be different in all of these places. And not only just in the places I stayed in, but in many other places, because not every business is run the same, not every friend's homestead is going to be the same, and not every campground is run the same. So these were only my differences, my comparisons, you know, and my experiences. I hope some of these videos can help you in order to decide what place that you would like to stay, if you want to do pros and cons on these places. If you guys like this video, please give it a big thumbs up, and don't forget to hit that subscribe button below and click the notifications bell so you can receive a notification each time I post a new video, which is every Sunday. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll see you in the next video. All right, we're going to start with the difference between, don't put that, hold on. Number 5, I don't remember what I was going to say. In the living tiny, and those 3, there's probably more places that I could compare, but I wasn't able to sit. Don't put that.